What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, November 22nd, 2024, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 15:07 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we currently have U.S. nuclear forces on very high alert again. So far this morning, there were over 30 nuclear attack options broadcasted on U.S. nuclear war radio frequencies, and we currently have 2 nuclear bombers airborne, one over the UK that just got aerially refueled over the Atlantic, and then we have one over Oklahoma. These are both B-52s. What's really interesting is this B-52 here that got aerially refueled over the Celtic Sea. This is pretty unusual, and in conjunction with all those nuclear attack options that were broadcasted this morning, it's very concerning. And also, we had 3 nuclear war command and control planes airborne earlier this afternoon. There was 1 off the coast of the Carolinas and 2 in the Gulf of Mexico. And these planes are responsible for communicating with our submerged nuclear-armed submarines. So they were giving out orders to the submarines. They have a special antenna that they spool out the back of the plane, and that helps them send messages to submerged submarines. Okay, so our nuclear forces are on very, very high alert. We heard some nuclear attack options broadcasted to tactical units this morning, and there were so many of these options being broadcasted that at several times they were talking over each other. And we have some very concerning news coming out of the Biden administration. We're hearing that the Biden administration is considering giving Ukraine nuclear weapons to prevent any kind of a violation of a ceasefire in the future by Russia, if there is a ceasefire in the future. This is being reported by the New York Times today. The U.S. and European officials are discussing deterrence as a possible security guarantee for Ukraine, such as stockpiling a conventional arsenal sufficient to strike a punishing blow if Russia violates a ceasefire. Several officials even suggested that Biden could return nuclear weapons to Ukraine. So this is extremely serious, guys. The situation is escalating. And yesterday evening, it appears that Ukraine struck another target inside of Russia with American missiles or British missiles. Here's a picture of the target that was hit. We're hearing from various sources that some kind of an arsenal with potentially billions of dollars worth of munitions was hit by the Ukrainians in Krasnodar. Okay, and here we have a video that unfortunately I cannot play for you on YouTube because of YouTube's policies, but you can see this massive mushroom cloud here. They hit some kind of munitions depot, okay, destroying a massive amount of munitions in Krasnodar. So it looks like Russia is going to strike Ukraine again with that Oreshnik Icbm. Here we have a video showing one of these cruise projectiles flying over a field in the Kursk Oblast. This was the first Storm Shadow strike on Russia. So you could see that cruise projectile, okay, right there, flying over this field. Look how low it is, literally just like 100 feet above ground level. Absolutely insane. So Russia is preparing to strike Ukraine again, it seems like. And NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has now traveled to Florida to meet with Trump. And the former commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian army, Valery Zaluzhny, stated today that the Russian army has started firing Chinese shells at Ukrainian positions, and he also said that World War III has begun. The German Defense Ministry confirmed the existence of a contingency plan for armed conflict on the eastern flank of NATO. This was the Operation Plan, I forget the name of it, but basically it calls for up to 800,000 troops to be deployed to Eastern Europe. And this document is like 1,000 pages long, but we are hearing some unconfirmed reports right now that Russia has closed the airspace for today and tomorrow and Sunday for potentially more missile tests, okay, on Ukraine. And we know that the Ukrainian parliament has evacuated today, and they canceled their meeting today for fears of a strike by Russia. So we could see something happening today or tonight. That's why all those EAMs were transmitted earlier this morning. And the Kremlin press secretary Dmitry Peskov commented on Russia's use of the Icbm. He said Russia would prefer if Washington had paid attention to President Vladimir Putin's statements made prior to the Oreshnik test. He said also there has been no contact with the current U.S. administration following the Oreshnik test. He said Russia's military is working on mechanisms to notify Ukraine's civilian population in the event of plans for new ballistic missile strikes. I don't know if I believe that. And Putin's main message is that reckless decisions made by the West to supply missiles to Ukraine cannot go unanswered. He said Russia has demonstrated its capabilities to respond to Western actions by using ballistic missiles. And the Oreshnik intercontinental ballistic missile can hit targets throughout Europe, said the commander of the Russian Strategic Missile Forces, Sergei Karakayev. Okay, so they're saying they could hit the UK, they could hit Poland. There's all kinds of possibilities with this now. And Ukraine's military intelligence says that the missile fired by Russia flew over 15 minutes and reached a speed of more than Mach 11. And Ukraine's foreign ministry said that Ukraine has the full right to target any legitimate military objectives in Russia under international law as per Article 51 of the UN Charter. So Ukraine doubling down, saying that we're going to strike Russia regardless of how many Oreshniks they fire at us, and maybe even if they nuke us, we'll still attack Russia. So Ukraine is not going to back down. I showed you the footage of the strike yesterday evening on Krasnodar, where they hit this massive weapons storage facility, and that was after Putin gave his speech, okay? And an emergency meeting of the Ukraine NATO Council will be held on November 26th to discuss the consequences of the use of the Oreshnik against Ukraine. And Viktor Orban, the president of Hungary, said the two most dangerous months of the Russia-Ukraine war are ahead of us. And railways are on alert for large-scale transfer of military equipment and machinery in the Netherlands. Okay, and if you guys don't know, the Netherlands has some huge ports that are critical for NATO equipment to flow in from the U.S. So apparently railways in the Netherlands are now on high alert for the transfer of military equipment and machinery, large-scale transfer, okay? And a Russian Ilyushin-20 spy plane conducted reconnaissance on Thursday near the Finnmark region in Norway. The country's armed forces command sent two F-35s on duty towards the Ilyushin-20 to identify the plane, so that's pretty concerning. And a German frigate, the Nordrhein Westphal, sailed into the port of Gdańsk in Poland. So Germany sending warships to Poland now. And the U.S. Embassy in London was on lockdown earlier this morning over an unknown security threat, according to various sources. Police officers carried out a controlled explosion outside the U.S. Embassy in London after a suspicious package was discovered. And at the Gatwick Airport in the UK, there was an evacuation of the South Terminal due to an unspecified security incident earlier today as well. And the Russian army bombed the power plant in Kurakovo. Apparently, all the pipes are destroyed, and it's unlikely that the power plant will be able to operate anymore. And the United States has announced that it will not comply with the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The White House press secretary said, "We're not going to be executing any ICC arrest warrants." And I want to just play for you guys this audio clip of a stealth bomber that was given the green light for something yesterday evening. I'm not sure exactly what this means, but it's very, very concerning. So let me play this for you. This is Barksdale Air Force Base communicating with 3 nuclear bombers, 1 stealth bomber, 2 B-52s, and then they're also communicating with Strategic Command. And at some point, the bombers, including the stealth bomber, gets a green light for something. Not sure what that is.
On 11175, I have you, Lima Charlie, call me over. Maysail, Red River has you loud and clear on 11175. Break. Death 11, Doom 11, Doom 12. Red River on 11175. Red River, Death 11 on 11175.
That was just the B-2.
That's 1-1 from Pine Tree. Green light.
Death 1-1 from Pine Tree. Green light. So I'm not sure what that means, but can't be good. Here's a picture of the German warship arriving in Poland today. And here we have a tweet that was posted by U.S. Central Command earlier this morning showing B-52s flying with an aerial refueler and some Eurofighter Typhoons of the British Air Force over the Central Command area of responsibility. So this is in the Middle East. You can see this picture was actually taken from inside of a B-52 or from the outside in a camera pod. So you can see the giant jet engines here of the B-52. So we still have those nuclear-capable B-52s in Qatar, part of our nuclear triad being deployed there in case of an escalation with Iran. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be in and out of the 24/7 live stream for the rest of the evening, and I might be back later with another update. If you haven't checked out the 24/7 stream, I recommend you do so you can listen to all this stuff going on in real time. There's a lot of people in the chat that post news as it comes in, so you don't have to necessarily wait for my updates. You can get the news as it comes in. You can also listen to the nuclear codes being transmitted. I have my own radio system with a 400-foot antenna, so I can pick up the nuclear forces worldwide, and that's piped into the live stream, so you can leave that live stream on all day, and you can hear in the background the nuclear codes being transmitted. And also follow me on Telegram and Twitter. I post all my updates over there. So if you follow me over there, you'll never miss an update. And the links to those accounts are in the description below this video. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.